Hello and welcome to the Strategy of the Week Progressive Winners, a red-hot derby strategy for fast, consistent trading success. My name is Angel Clark, Creative Marketing Manager. If you're new to VectorVest, you might be thinking, what the heck is the derby? And I don't blame you. I've been exposed to a lot of software in the industry, and I've yet to see anything that even remotely compares to the derby. The name was coined because it's kind of like the famous Kentucky Derby, a race to prove who's the best of the best. But in this case, of course, it's not horses competing, it's stock selection strategies. I really don't think the name does it enough justice. It makes me think of fun and excitement, and don't get me wrong, the Derby is fun and exciting, but it's also a serious, one-of-a-kind trading tool that can help you make real profits consistently all year, every year. A horse race just doesn't do that in my mind. Also, a horse race is over before you know it, and that's exactly how I think of day trading. Jerry showed a pretty amazing way to use the Derby for day trading a couple of weeks ago, but that's just one small way you can use the Derby. With the new enhancements, the Derby tool doesn't just find day trading winners anymore. It is absolutely ideal for finding the right stocks at any point in time, whether your aim is to have them in your portfolio for a few days or several weeks. The vital function of the Derby is to continuously and conclusively answer that critical question: what's working now? What's the best strategy to use right now to make money? Because the market is always changing, and the Derby instantly adapts and molds itself to the current conditions, which is genius. Almost 200 stock scans are pitted against each other every single day, and now with a click, those results can be instantly compiled and analyzed in 4 different modes. Day trading, of course, but thanks to the new enhancements, there's also buy and hold, vary by start date, and sliding window, which are the modes that are perfect for finding strategies and stocks that make money a little bit longer or a lot longer depending on your personal style. So how do you do that? Well, today I'm going to show you using a strategy VectorVest calls progressive winners. It's simple and can be very effective for netting substantial gains in the short term. Because let's face it, even if you want to hold stocks for the long term, the more quickly you accumulate profits, the better, especially in this high-priced market where gains can disappear pretty quickly. So let's jump into the program and get started. The first thing we're going to do is the same thing we always do. Look at the market's direction. So I'm going to click on Graphs and open our market timing graph. Market timing is always going to be the key no matter what you do, and I personally have a preference for the RT Kicker combo. Between it and the GLB RT Kicker, I don't think it's possible to find a more intuitive, accurate signal for market timing. That said, the primary wave, which is kind of a close cousin, also complements this strategy nicely. So let's go to our graph layouts and choose the GLB RT Kicker layout, and then we'll also put on those markers. We're going to focus on the most recent signals, so really pretty late in the rally. We have some up signals right here about 6 weeks ago. That was on October 22nd, another one on the 24th, and another on the 29th. A down signal came on the 6th of November, and of course we've had a few more since then. Notice if we use any of these signals to open positions, we could always close our position before the signal reverses. So these signals reversed on November 6th, but 3 down days in a row probably would have been enough for me to exit positions, at least for the short-term trading. You could also close positions if any reasonable profit declines by half. No reason to let a profit turn into a loss. Dr. DeLito has gone over that several times. Or you can just close positions whenever your risk tolerance threshold is met. So we'll be using a couple of these dates as we run through our analysis and let the Derby point us to the best possible money-making candidates. We'll move to the Derby tab, and you can see it's ticking away in real time, showing us what's performing right now. But for our longer term strategy, we're going to click on the tote board. Make sure your entry price is set to market open and change the mode to vary the start date. you should automatically be sorted by total percent gain loss. I want to show you recent performance of this strategy, so we're going to need to change our date range. Our begin date is going to be October 9th, and the reason I chose that date is because it's 10 trading days prior to our October 22nd up signal. So on October 22nd, we would have received the signal from the RT Kicker combo to start buying stocks. And the previous 10 trading days before that signal happened gives us a nice period of time to analyze the performance of all these searches. We'll click OK. And notice also how bullish the summary is for this period. So it's kind of backing up or confirming that up signal from the RT Kicker combo. You don't have to use that, but I think it's a nice addition. We sorted by gains in descending order because, of course, making money is what we want to do, but probably not at any cost. That's where efficiency is a brilliant secondary filter. It considers the gain, the number of portfolios that made money, the number of stocks that made money, and the volatility according to the largest average drawdown, or in other words, drop in the value of the portfolio. Like I said, it's a very smart filter. The key to this progressive winner strategy is looking for the best, meaning the highest efficiency rating in the top 10 gainers that we have here. So in this case, Beeline Boppers just makes it into that top 10, and it clearly has the highest efficiency at 64.98%. Just a little tip here, I personally like to see an efficiency of at least 50%. If there's not one in the top 10 with that efficiency at or above 50%, I just wait for another signal. This is where I want to explain what vary the start date is doing for us. If we click on any of these results, let's use our candidate Beeline Boppers, this will show you 10 stock portfolios. You can see the average number of stocks in each portfolio is 10. The Derby automatically creates these portfolios by running the search, in this case Beeline Boppers, every day for the 10 days we selected. It's also showing the average gain for each of these 10 portfolios if you held them until your market signal that you want to trade on. A lot more information is included as well. It's also showing the percentage of stocks in those portfolios that were winners, the average annualized rate of return, which is very helpful since all of these stocks are being held over different periods of time. You'll also see the max drawdown and the efficiency for each portfolio. The value of this strategy and this analysis mode is that the window of time that these stocks have to make money is progressively shrinking. First you have 10 days, then 9 days, 8, all the way down to a single day, from market open to market close. I want to point out that these portfolios could hold the same stocks, just entered into later and later, or they could be entirely different stocks each time the search was run. Either way, though, it's a tough test of this strategy's performance. If it's the same stocks, getting into them later makes it harder to make money. If it's different stocks, it's a huge test of how many different winners this search turns up. In the end, all this information from the Derby and the progressive winners strategy is telling us that Beeline Boppers is the search to use right now to make money. Let's see if it worked. We'll go to Unisearch and we'll run the scan to find the current stocks. So that would be that 10/22 date. And you can always see the timing dates with these little cheats over here. Beeline Boppers is found in the Trends, Persistent Trends group, but if you didn't know that, you can sort A to Z. Double-click to run, or hit Run Search. At the bottom, you'll see a description of what this search finds. It finds stocks that have been rated a buy the past 3 Fridays. However, they weren't rated a buy the 3 consecutive Fridays before that. So essentially, they're fairly new buy recommendations, but they've managed to hold on to the buy recommendation, which is key. The sort brings the lowest price stocks with the best VST to the top of the list. So we're also finding stocks with at least a little fundamental strength that we're getting at a pretty good bargain. You can see that they're a little aggressive on the safety side, but they've got very good long-term price appreciation potential overall, and their timing and momentum is fantastic. These are the stocks we would want to look at buying. This is the date we would want to look at buying them on. Let's test their performance going forward. We'll quick test the top 10. And that is pretty awesome. 28, almost 29% in about 6 weeks, when the overall market has moved less than 1%. If you want an even tougher test, let's use the S&P. That's moved less than 3%, and that is the performance benchmark to beat industry-wide. Notice that's 234% if you annualize that return. Let's try holding it shorter term. The first down signal came on November 6th from the RT Kicker combo. Remember, we saw that date on our graph. So I'll select it and rerun our test. A 10% return. So annualized, that's 245%. So the annualized return is pretty close, even though you held them for a much shorter period. And that's what annualized rate of return does for you. It standardizes gains that happen over different periods so that it's easy to compare them. In this case, it didn't matter much if the stocks were held shorter or longer. Let's take it a step further. That series of 3 down days ended on November 1st. So at that point, you probably would have pulled back a little bit in your profits, and you've seen the market lose money day after day for 3 consecutive days. So it wouldn't be unreasonable to expect you to look at getting out of your long positions, especially if you were a short-term trader. Not quite as many winners. This is a pretty short period of time to make money, but you're already up almost 7%, an annualized rate of return that's been consistent with all of our other periods, 253%, so slightly better than the other 2 periods. Really, really fantastic results. And they came with minimal effort, about 2 minutes of work, if you can call it that. What I would like you to do is try it yourself. Use the same technique with the next 2 timing signals I showed you on the market timing chart. Quick test the strategy you find to the November 6th down signal. Each time you'll find that you make money and outperform the market. Of course, nothing makes money every single time, but I think you'll be pretty pleased with this strategy. A few more tips. This strategy can be used for up signals and down signals. But since we've been in such a bull market, naturally expect more success on the upside. For the downside, I'd still use the combo timing, but I'd also add the guidance from Dr. DeLito's essays as to when VectorVest has seen signs that a downturn is really going to be worthwhile. It's also a good idea to consider your personal preferences. If you run through this strategy and you don't like the search it finds, either you run it and you don't like the look of the graphs, or it's simply an investment style that doesn't work for you. Maybe you're a conservative investor and the search is found in the aggressive group. If you aren't comfortable with it, just let it pass by. There's going to be plenty of other opportunities to make money. I want you to realize that what we've just shown is a straight point A to point B performance test with no stop losses. I would fully expect you to use sensible stop losses to manage any positions you open, and that stop loss will be determined by your risk tolerance. Finally, I encourage you to cherry pick your candidates using some of the great techniques that we've shown recently in the strategies of the week, which brings me to a brand new VectorVest special report. You'll find it in the views under special reports. If we go down to the bottom, it's 10 red-hot derby strategies for fast, consistent trading success. There are tons of ways to make money with the derby, but in this report, we've given you 10 very specific step-by-step strategies to check out for yourself, including the strategy we just went over today and a great cherry-picking variation for prudent investors. I hope this presentation has given you a little taste of the tremendous potential this tool has for your portfolio. There is literally nothing else like it. And if you don't have the Derby, you don't have to be disappointed. VectorVest is offering the opportunity for you to try it out absolutely free, right along with the 30-day free trial of VectorVest Real-Time if you don't already have access. So if you haven't already taken advantage of that offer, just give us a call at 888-658-7638. It's only for a limited time though, so take it for a test drive. I think you'll see how much easier this tool can point you to winners and how much potential it has for putting your portfolio on the fast track to substantial, consistent growth. That will wrap up today's Strategy of the Week. If you have any questions, please join us for our live Q&A webcast on Monday. You can register at vectorvest.com/events. I want to thank you for joining me, and be sure to visit the VectorVest University for more great on-demand training.